What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fatboy FadeAway podcast here on a Wednesday night, 10:30. T, what's up, man? You ready to do this?
I am. I've been good.
All right.
How about you?
Good, dude. Work's been good.
It's nice to see you able to do one of these real late ones.
Yeah, it's from once in a while you're able to do get the energy a little bit once in a while to do it. So, it's all right. We'll use it tonight.
Must have been that pizza at lunchtime.
It's been that pizza. I ran this morning, so I think I have a little extra energy because of that. So that could be why as well.
A little testosterone.
A little testosterone built up there, and the fires here have kind of settled down, so that's always a good motivation as well around here, as you know. And there's been some pretty good Game 7s NBA that we want to talk about. And
Very good.
Today was a good one. Houston, OKC. I picked the Thunder in 7.
Wrong again, Ernie.
You picked the Rockets in 6 or 7. I think you had them in 6.
Remember. 6 or 7, yeah.
I think you had them in 6, but anyways, they still get the win. They win 104-102 tonight. Crazy ending of the game, just a crazy last 4 seconds. The whole game was it was a crazy game the whole time. Like, in the sense of like you weren't getting what you were expecting. Like, Dort comes out of the blue and he's playing offensively like he's not the player he's been earlier. And then you have Harden, who's been playing very well, who ends up with 19 points or 17 points in the game,
17.
4 for 15 overall, 1 for 9 from 3-point range. Westbrook ends up with 20 points on 9 for 20, so he plays a little bit better, but nothing, nothing outstanding.
Not spectacular
in Game 7 from them. Covington actually kind of saved their bacon a little bit there with his 6 threes to give him 21 points. So he played really well. I know you.
I love Covington.
You make love to big Roberto over there. You're a big fan.
He's a good wing player.
I bet NBA Live you would play with him like all the time if you had the chance. Every time I bet you would play with him if you had the chance.
I don't know about every time, but
I could see him be like one of those players you would get like 8.
Use my 5th pick on.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, I'll take him. He's good at shooting threes. So the Rockets don't get their usual performances, but they still, to their credit, they hung with it. Harden makes a good play at the end, even though he doesn't play particularly well on offense. But on the OKC side, I wanted to also touch on, before we get to the grand scheme of the game here, was Dort. I thought if he could play like that on a consistent level, then they really do have something. I know I really kind of pointed him out last weekend more in the sense of just like, I liked his style a little bit, but today he showed a little bit more skill. He just has like I said, he has that dog mentality. I like how you brought it up when we were texting earlier today, how he really fights through screens. And like literally as you texted me that, like he pulled a complete Andre Iguodala, he just stays with the guy, but he bodies him. He wears him down.
And he's not like, oh, you can take him. He gets on him and says, you go find your guy. I'm not leaving this guy.
No, and he almost gets like he takes it personal in a sense. Like if he scores, it's like he knows that's he's going to get on fire now. I don't want that. Like he doesn't, he knows he's good, so he just knows he can't allow him to have any airspace, and that's what I respect about, I think, his defensive game plan is he understands that part, and that's why I get frustrated watching some players and that's why I like Clay so much too.
Yeah.
And Clay's credit is he's a little bit more responsibility on offense than Mr. Dort does, but he understands that like heat check part of it, the game as well. Like you just can't let guys
get
easy looks. I mean, you can't have them. And tonight he proved it, in the sense of like he never let him get going in that sense. And it's hilarious that he ended up with 30 and Harden ended up with 17, and the Rockets still win.
Yeah.
So what's that go to? I always say Paul's the clutch. He's one of the more clutch players, but he didn't really have one of his best games today, and neither did Schroeder.
No.
So what's your thoughts on that game, man, overall?
I saw like a stat midway through the fourth quarter. The Thunder had like 18 turnovers to the Houston's like 7 or 8 or 9. It was single digits at the time. I was like, how the heck are the Thunder within 2 points at this point in time? Like, they got no good performances really from anyone but Dort.
Well, Gilchrist played pretty well. He had 19.
He had like 8 turnovers, didn't or like a lot of them. Like
Gallinari played not very well, and he misses that free throw. Why did they sell? Did they have to send Gallinari to the line there at
no,
the end?
they said anyone could. They fouled Paul, so Paul was the one.
Yeah, that was a weird play right there. I know he probably he must have a better percentage, right? He must, because you figure Paul's one of the better free throw shooters in the league, I would think, anyways.
Yeah, I always thought he was a good free throw. I've never been like foul Paul.
Foul Paul. I guess he was 88% on the.
Yeah, he's great.
He was 90% Gallinari. So I mean, maybe he's probably a little bit better, but that's kind of one of those plays where you just take the clutch, kind of the more cluch guy there, even if it's
you take the better player.
Yeah, I would think so.
I'm better than you. I'm shooting it. Sorry.
That's funny, but I even kind of to the Denver-Houston game or to the Denver-Utah game, definitely different style of play in terms of point scores, but for the bubble, man, there is something today. I think I saw that in that game, but there's that kind of element, especially when they were yelling at the refs so much that last 4 seconds, that reminded me so much of our rec league teams that get out of control. These empty gyms where it's the refs have now. I mean, they would never yell like that at the refs. I feel maybe they would, but I feel
they yell. I just feel
maybe they would. It just feels a little bit different, I guess, with that atmosphere. You can hear it so much more. Maybe that is what it is. It
echoes
comes down to. And the passion's a little bit, but I feel like the passion's a little bit different in this bubble. It's a little bit more raw. Obviously, you've been there for 2 months. No, they've just been sitting there probably down 2.5 months.
And if you advance to the next round, your family gets to come. So they have more on the line.
It's like Survivor.
It is. It's like,
Survivor.
Well, you're out. Family's coming in. All right.
Oh, man.
You know what I noticed for the first time in that last inbound is those Fody fans, whatever they are, the virtual ones.
Yeah.
It was saying defense. And I was like, oh, they're trying to give them a home court advantage.
Was that the first time you actually saw it?
Yeah, I didn't know. Well, I didn't think it helped. It just made me laugh that they were defense. Not even chanting or anything. It just was a big virtual billboard.
The NBA, to their credit, I feel has done a decent job with that. I mean, it's more, I think, for look than anything else. I think it'd be better. They can't just have a big empty black spot. It'd look even weirder, I think, if they had that. So, but you're right. It is funny. I like how the fans sometimes put these funny things on their faces. Like I said, there was a goat one time, and then there was a few teddy bears there today. I saw that was funny too. Yeah, but overall, the other thing with the OKC that is interesting now is I thought they played that last 45 seconds really poorly on offense. Why would you not go to any pick and roll with Chris Paul? Why would that last possession, you trying to go one-on-one there with 17 seconds left, and he has to kick it out to Gilchrist? You know what I mean? That just seems like an obvious pick and roll moment that, because if me and you were to write down what's Paul's greatest strength on offense, in terms of, you'd probably say pick and rolls right up there with one of his strengths. And what's his favorite spot? That usually that right little elbow wing area where he gets to fade away. And I mean,
or just going to his right, he can do floaters. He's not. That's how he beat San Antonio in Game 7 with the Clippers that one year. I mean, pick and roll going right.
That was against San Antonio.
I believe so.
Yeah, that was good. I remember that one.
Or Dallas.
He's so good at Dallas. Yeah. And he's so good at that little spot. So that kind of surprised me. No, I think you were right about San Antonio. About that, I remember that play now. But it just seems, against San Antonio, yes, that was.
He's fading right.
Yes, epic round one. Yes, you're right. That was a crazy round one. That should have been almost a Western Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
somewhere deeper than.
I forgot about that series. That's an underrated series there. That one. If you went back to look at that one, if you went back and look at that one. But anyways, back to this one here. So I think I learned a couple things. I think Dort OKC might have something in him. Maybe.
Dude, how long has he been in the league?
He's a rookie.
He's out of Arizona State too, so Harden must know who he is, in a way more than you'd think from a rookie.
Yeah,
because they both went to Arizona State. He might not know him that familiarly, but I'm sure he's got to be. Yeah, some sort of.
They got to have some sort of connection, don't you think?
I mean, you'd think something. Has Harden never gone back to watch it? I don't know how close he is with Arizona State, but
Yeah, he's probably gone back and watched. He probably knows who he is, and that's probably why Dort maybe even played him even harder. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there was like a little extra incentive there. I bet they're the only 2 Arizona State guys in the league. If I had to just take a guess, maybe there's one more that's still hanging out that probably was drafted a while ago, but they've never been that. They've never been that great ever.
Is Eddie House? Eddie House is out of the league, right?
Eddie House. You know who
He's out.
right? You know who Ryan Brazillo is, right? Obviously, the guy goes like he has a funny saying that he the bald guy. He has a funny saying where he goes, if Eddie House played in the 1950s, he'd be a Hall of Famer. It's
probably not
true,
far off, though.
Probably true. Yeah. So, like media, it's a whole different game, basically.
I remember watching we're getting off topic, but watching a random Cal Arizona State game in like 2000 and Eddie House went for like 61 in a college game or something close to that. I was like, holy smokes.
I remember watching that's when I was so excited, Tyler, about Saturday Pac-10 basketball. They'd have one on at 12:30, 3:30, and they'd have one on at 7:30, and I would say, yeah. So they had some good games. That's when now it's not as competitive. I feel like
who was that Cal player who won Player of the Year back then? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like Lampley or
Sean Lampley.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, then Leon Poe won it one year.
I thought he won Freshman Player of the Year. He won Player of the.
I think he won Pac-12. I think his sophomore year he won it.
Okay. Yeah, it was Lampley who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Lampley won it one year, and then they had somebody else. They've had a couple like good like college players.
They had that little point guard who was buff who had a pretty good year recently.
Bayless.
No, that was from Arizona. Was that?
It was something like that. I know who you're talking about. He's on. I have a ticket of him on my wall. Actually,
yeah. Like
right now. Yeah. No, Randall's his name.
Randall. Yeah.
No, little guy. Yeah, he was pretty good. They won the league that when they had him as well. So yeah, a little off topic there, but a little shout out to the Bay Area there. So, anyways, good game 7 tonight. OKC Houston. So they go on to play the Lakers now. Any initial thoughts about that one?
I should be good. I mean, got a lot of superstars, but I don't see how Anthony Randolph doesn't go for 40 and 15 and 4 or 5 blocks.
What do you think about the tired thing?
What did I say? Not Randolph. Anthony Davis. Not Randolph. I don't know why I said Randolph.
I know what you
meant. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you think about – I can see now people saying like, oh, Houston is going to be tired now because of this series. And part of my thing is like, well, they're not even – I mean, yes, they might be mentally tired, but like their bodies shouldn't be, I would think, like as tired.
They had 4 months off.
And they're not traveling or anything like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the announcer says like, well, they're tired. I'm like, what do you mean they're tired? They're tired. Like they should be like mentally tired. Yes, I guess so. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting how they guard who they put on them. LA on Harden and Westbrook, right? I mean,
well, LeBron won't guard him.
He surely does. He'll probably be. You think he'll take Covington or Tucker?
Probably Tucker. He's an easier matchup.
Well, who's McGee guard then? He doesn't play.
McGee doesn't play. Anthony Davis is the biggest mismatch for Houston they could possibly get. It's their worst nightmare.
PJ Tucker on him?
Oh, he's going to get destroyed. Anthony Davis is against a 6'6" guy. I just don't see it.
The only hope really for them is that Davis doesn't play very smart. You know what I mean? Like he kind of plays a little out of his things, but like if he plays a little like just out of obviously he doesn't play well, but he's kind of taking just not quite in the same rhythm. And then the other thing that would have to happen is Harden or Westbrook would have to have an epic series. Like they'd have to have just some sort of magical series. I don't see that happening. I see LA winning that series. Go ahead.
I do too. They'd almost have to have like Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell combined on this, like to beat LA. I feel like
the one thing about LA is they're vulnerable in the guard spot. I feel like so.
They are for sure.
So I mean, if foul trouble or something like that plays a factor in the game, you never know. And, injury, of course, but just in terms of regular. And that's the thing is the Lakers aren't deep in the guard spot. So if they do get in foul trouble or something like that, they could. And like you said, LeBron ain't guarding Harden probably. So
No, there's no chance.
There's no chance. That's not happening. So just a couple thoughts about the game real quick. Back to it what do you think about Houston overall with D'Antoni? Is this his last year? You think they don't win it all?
Yeah.
Or make the finals at least?
I think they have to win it all, and I think he's gone.
Yeah, regardless.
There's no way he's coming back.
Yeah,
I think the Pelicans should try and get him, but they're stuck with Gentry, I guess. It's not bad, but I think he just would fit that system perfectly.
I think they fired Gentry.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they hire anyone yet?
No.
He should go to the Pelicans. I think that'd be a great fit.
D'Antoni. Yeah, because he could just play Williams and probably center.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the good enough Drew Holiday would be your. I don't know what. I mean, you don't want Lonzo because normally they're. I guess you could have Lonzo
I think Lonzo would be traded.
Yeah.
I think he would be traded if he played for him. He can't shoot well enough.
Yeah.
He'd probably end up on like Utah or something. Ball. I could see him on Utah. I don't know why he seems like a Utah point guard to me.
I think his dad would be freaking out. Utah.
They don't even let him in the gym. Real quick about the other series in the West. Denver Clippers. Denver. I want to get into that game a little bit more with Casey on Saturday. So I want to break it down too much, but obviously Murray and Mitchell were really special in that series. I will break down the numbers more on Saturday about that one, but just a quick. But when we get to the Saturday, it will be probably game 2. So what do you think about Denver versus LA? Does Denver even get a game? I mean, there's no way you can really trust Denver, do you? I mean,
unless Jokic plays out of his mind and can't be stopped, but he's never that assertive to be that guy, so I don't see how it happens.
Can I ask you this? Is Murray's performance real?
No.
You know what I mean?
He's a borderline all-star every year. He's good.
He has cards on eBay going for $100 now. So
do you think he's for real? Do you think he's real?
He did hit some shots in the series where he really did surprise. I mean, he was the 7th overall pick, right?
He's good. I'm not saying he's not good. That's not what I'm.
It's hard to believe the Suns took Jonathan Bender, or not Jonathan Bender, the white guy Bender over some of those guys.
Dragan.
It's hard to believe that.
Something better.
You never take a 6, 8, 9 white guy. Come on, you just.
There's some guy in this draft who's like some 6'8".
Me and you. It's like that's why I think Stephen A. Smith was so pissed about the Porzingis thing.
Doncic is a 6'8" white guy.
Yeah, well, you can just watch 5 minutes of him and know he's not a stiff. You can watch it. You know what I mean? You just watch him.
Sure.
So, anyways, I don't know. So, what do you think of Denver, LA? Who do you got?
I got LA. It's going to be LA versus LA.
Is it a sweep this time though?
No, I'll take them in. Gosh, I hate LA. I hate the Clippers more than they bug me.
Yeah, I don't really want.
They have this like fake tough guy attitude. But
the Clippers.
Yeah. You like Montrezl.
That's why you probably can't like Beverly that much.
And Beverly and Lou Williams has that kind of, I don't know. He's nice off the court.
Yeah.
I've heard him in interviews and he seems like a nice guy, but he just has that, I don't know. Just Paul George calling himself playoff P. Get the hell out of here.
So you're pretty good. And Morris is kind of a little like that too.
And Morris is a fake tough guy. Kawhi's not. I mean, how can you not like Kawhi? He just plays. So there's no.
What did you think about Chris Webber when he said? Or I don't know if it was Chris Webber for sure, but when Morris hit him across the face and got ejected, Doncic kind of got up and went at him, and the announcer was like, "Oh, I know Doncic wouldn't want any piece of that." And I was like, I think Doncic in that moment would have at least tried. I think he was angry enough. I think he would have gone.
Not like Doncic is scared of any grown man who's near his height.
You get hit like that, you're going to definitely be thinking something
But I
like
didn't
that.
think it was that bad of a foul.
I mean, he slapped him across the face.
I didn't see that angle then. I must have missed that angle.
Yeah,
Looked
I mean,
like he went over his shoulder and hit the ball down and like fell through and might have hit him in the head.
it seemed to me like an obvious. You see it later.
I think it's a technical. I didn't think it was.
And given the history of the series too with him, like where he he gave him a flat tire in the series before, and then he hammered him the one time before too. They both. I think that one was to me
more intentional than, or not more intentional, but more dirty.
Yeah, way more dirty and way more intent behind it. So we'll get into more of those series come Saturday, but that's a little preview. That was an exciting game tonight, Game 7. So hopefully the series. I think the Denver LA Clippers has a chance to have maybe a game or two good games, but I just don't see Denver pulling.
Hold on, you never answered what you thought of Jamal Murray as like a.
Oh, I just think he's a little bit. I just don't think he's quite to that level of like a top 10 player. I don't know if he'll ever get to like that level yet, but he feels like he's kind of in that 20 to 30 range to me a little bit more. But maybe he could have a season where he's like in that 12 to 20 where he could break the. I could see him being like a third team like All NBA one time or two times maybe in his.
All right, so we can like a borderline All-Star every year.
Yeah, and maybe if there's some more, I don't know. Maybe if his career breaks the right way, he surprises me and he gets maybe a second team, or maybe Curry when that happens, he can maybe take over and get to a first team. But right now, I don't see. It just seems like he can't get to the hoop quite as easily as. I don't know. There's like a part of his game I don't quite trust, I guess, yet. But his 3-point game is definitely the part that's really surprising me.
Intriguing.
Yeah, it makes me think like. And especially when he has Jokic, because Jokic is so good at those handoffs. Like, he gets a lot of good looks. He kind of Jokic. Doesn't it kind of remind me of that was Bibby, like just an advanced, like literally a 20-year version of a Bibby versus, M. Weber, basically, right?
Yeah. Very similar. Or Vlade, either one.
Yeah, it's like the same kind of style, right? It's just like kind of – Weber's the better player. That's why I went with Weber with you. But, yeah, same thing. Yeah, like they're good at those handoffs. They both have great feels for passing, and they just use their bodies to get the guard like these open like little shots where they just need enough. And instead of Bibby taking these 20-footers, Murray's taking a lot more threes, and you're allowed to shoot like way more every game.
Or if you go over the screen, you can get up and get to the hoop easily because of the space created.
Yeah.
But you have more faith in Donovan Mitchell? Or it's about the same.
I think I do have a little bit more faith at this point in Donovan Mitchell. I do too. More. I think they're just, and Utah, their coaching wasn't very good. I felt like they never adjusted in the series. Like the pick and roll was really good. Denver then kind of made the adjustment to their like pick and roll a little bit more, and they couldn't go to something else. That's where I said when I was texting you, I thought Bogdanovic could have made a little bit more of a difference. And yes, Will Barton, and I know Harris wasn't at 100%, but I think Bogdanovic was really important to that team. And Conley was garbage. He played
okay in a couple games.
Yeah, but
he was hurt all year.
You trade for him for all for the big game, and basically didn't deliver in the Game 7. That a real
no one did though that game.
Man, Denver,
other than Jokic.
That would have been one of the all-time, just boners of all time.
Boners.
Like, what do you call it? Horrible play.
All-time blowjobs? I don't know.
It was a boner. Like it was just a horrible play. Like, what are you doing, bro? You're like an 85% free throw shooter. Back it out. But
said he passed it to some.
He passed it.
Mr. Lane. Craig, why you get it to Craig?
Oh no!
It's like Roger Craig. It's like Roger Craig fumbling in the NFC Championship.
I can't wait to discuss that better with Casey.
You two can.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about that horrible on Saturday. So, anyways, I wanted to get into the MLB though a little bit too before we wrap it up here. I kind of text you about before we got on the Yankees Rays the incident that happened yesterday, and that John Boy guy does a really good job of breaking down videos and stuff like that. He just does a funny job with it. He gets good audio. He gets good audio on it too.
He edits it well, and
so good audio with it. And man, the thing that I think that stood out to me in that video was just how close Chapman almost hit this Rays guy. So to set up the scene a little bit is the Rays and the Yankees have. I feel like the Rays have always had histories with teams of the AL East.
They're always beating guys.
So I mean, it's kind of funny the way they're kind of complaining about it.
Goes back to Pedro Martinez.
Yeah, you're right with Williams. Williams actually got him good at that one. Pedro's had history all the way back when he was on the Expos. He's always been one of those guys. But anyways, in this one in particular, he throws up and tight. I mean, like, you can't throw a ball at somebody's head more than Chapman did to this guy on the Rays.
Well, that one guy threw just as well, maybe pretty close to.
So the 3 years before that, right? Like, that was an incident. But then the game before, they were throwing at guys, and the Rays have a history of this. But so, anyways, this guy throws right at his head, like, just a crazy video of it too, like just how close it basically comes.
Chapman.
Yeah, and that's why I get kind of frustrated too when people say like baseball's not a tough sport. I'm like, it's not maybe like hitting the ball, like hitting like football type of stuff. But if you're standing there with somebody throwing 100 miles per hour, that's in a way pretty dangerous as well. And you better be on your game. And it can be, and the game can get very intense, like it did in that moment. Like, and that's the part as a diehard baseball fan I enjoy the most. Is like those two teams like hate each other, and it was without the fans. There's nothing there. I mean, it's just pure emotion. There's really nothing else that's driving this hate other than the incidents
real emotion too. It's not egged on.
Yeah, it's not egged on by fans. It's not anything like over the crowd. And so like the fact when that happened, I just appreciated it so much. The fact that these coaches kind of stood up for their guys too, and then Brian Cash in the post game, is basically just chewing out the Yankees, and the umpire saying somebody has to be responsible for this. Somebody needs to be held accountable. I have six, a whole litter of bullpen that throws 98 miles per hour too. And then one of the reporters relays this message to Aaron Boone, and Aaron Boone goes, "Well, that's a real scary comment." And I just was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" Like, just the drama that came out of this was just fantastic. And the guy, to his credit, that got thrown at last night had 2 home runs a night, and man, that crowd, that bench was just talking it up. Yeah, they were just.
Who ended up winning tonight?
The Rays did 5-2. They were just running their mouth. So, and they're owning the Yankees right now. They've won like 7 out of 8 against them. So they're on a roll with them. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing, especially as a diehard baseball fan. Like, those are like the little things that like it can't be as popular with like certain people because it's just something you kind of pick up as you watch the game more, and like, you know what I mean. It's not like. If I was to watch that with my son, like nothing, I mean, it would just been like, oh, a ball thrown at his head. He wouldn't have been like, oh, why are we, you know what I mean? It would have been like scary, but there's more things behind the game. Like sliding into second used to be a big deal more. And, like all these little things that
going spikes up
or something. Yeah, like, or Tatis with the 3-0 pitch. Just these weird things. So,
well, that's where baseball gets stupid.
Yeah, I agree. But what do you kind of appreciate, like, the throwing at
I mean,
people,
I don't appreciate the throwing at people. I appreciate the competitiveness and like I think I don't appreciate anyone throwing at anyone's head. That's why I didn't have a problem with that Dodger pitcher getting 8 games because when you're throwing at someone's head, you're putting it's almost like Marty McSorley hitting the guy from behind with a stick. I mean, because he didn't connect. It isn't.
This still got to be one of the more messed up moments of all time.
It's awful. Or Todd Bertuzzi hitting the guy from behind. It's awful, but a baseball can do just as much damage. Like, if you hit him wrong, you don't know where he's going to hit him thrown up there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
so I don't really appreciate – I do appreciate, like,
the
hatred and, like, how it's not fake. There really is some –
it was real hate right there.
Not everyone's friends still. Like every other sport, it seems like everyone's just friends now.
That was real hate.
Where baseball is still.
Sure.
That's what makes baseball great, but it makes it terrible. It's regional. It's just, everyone, they don't care now. Like, you don't care about who's playing. Where most people, we're a little different.
And Tampa and the Yankees will probably hold on to this grudge for like the next 5 years.
Oh, I mean,
You know what I mean? Like somebody will
this
always
goes
remember
back
this.
3 years already.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like it all happened this week.
And he does a good. And the guy just to point out in the video, he does a good job of in Cash. Brian Cash also says, I know we had a guy throw 3 years ago at his head, and so he goes, he pauses the video, goes, well, it sounds like you're kind of a hypocrite then. Like if you're complaining about somebody throwing at your guy's head, and you're admitting to do the same thing. So I don't know. That was kind of one of those things I just like really enjoy about baseball. It's just like those little stuff like that.
And the guy who threw 3 years ago at the guy's head from Tampa, the interview afterwards, he's like, "This is baseball. I guess it is what it is." Do you have any other comments?
Nope.
I mean, it's just one of those ones that got high and tight. Yeah, it's probably uncomfortable for him, but it's baseball.
What an a-hole! What an a-hole!
Yeah,
scene,
just like
when you're throwing 99, what an a-hole! So Chapman gets suspended 3 games. Boone got suspended a game, and Brian Cash got suspended a game.
Cash only got 1 game.
Yeah, and Boone got 1, and so did and Chapman got 3. So we got that. Giants. We got other news in the Giants playing well. A's have been. Well, go ahead.
Going back to that, how do the Rays? I mean, Chapman was the latest, so he should get what he got, but. You have Cash ripping the umps. That has to be not allowed. That's first off. That should be something. Then he's threatening
He just
people.
said they should be accountable. He wasn't really ripping on them.
That's saying they didn't do their job.
Oh,
if you're saying that someone didn't do your job, he's threatening them with, we have 98 in our bullpen all the way through, or whatever he said.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know how it's 1-1.
Baseball really doesn't do suspicions very well, as we know, anyways.
I guess you're right.
They all do that.
As the Mets owner, let us know. Rob Manfred is not the man for the job.
That'd be their slogan, probably. So a couple of MLB notes before we get out of here. Giants playing well. They scored 23 runs the other night, which is
25.
I thought it was 23-6.
Maybe it was 23. I thought it was 25, but I could be wrong.
So,
we'll go 23.
Dick. He has 3 home runs. Alex Dickerson. The guy he kind of reminds me of
quick stat. 15th player in MLB history with 5 extra base hits in a game.
Oh, very impressive.
That's
Who did he tie for the
impressive.
Giants all time? He tied somebody for the most total bases in one game. Who did he tie?
I would guess either McCovey or Mays.
I'll go McCovey.
I'll go McCovey.
Not Bonds.
Bonds?
No, I'm guessing you're not.
No, Bonds never had 5 hits in one game.
No, so you're right. It's Mays. So he tied Mays.
Yeah, Mays hit 4 home runs in the game. So I guess I should have known right there. That ties it.
And did you know? You probably sounds like you did know, but if you walk, that does not count as total bases. It has to be.
I did not know that. What if you steal bases? Because
if you get
total
on base,
bases only goes from when you hit from.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you walk, because then I guess Barry Bonds would probably have the record.
Oh God.
Well,
0 for 1 with 14 bases.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that about the total bases thing. So
I thought it was wherever you ended up from.
So another diehard baseball stat there on the TV show here.
If you're keeping a book.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to get into another baseball topic here that I kind of thought was kind of a nerd topic. Whatever, this is what we do. Most exciting MLB teams that were young teams. The reason I brought that up was because it kind of reminded the Padres. Your prediction here before the beginning of the year, I kind of teased you about it a little bit, but it turns out to be a pretty good pick. They've been a pretty solid team, and they've been very young. Superlative pick. We'll see if they can hang on here, but make a little extra finish in the playoffs as well. But they're really going for it. First of all, I mean they're going all in for the 60-game banner, and I mean they are. They're like
they gave up a good prospect to Cleveland too.
Yeah, what do you
Naylor,
think about them?
Josh Naylor.
What do you think of the Padres getting Clevenger? I love it for my fantasy team, but what do you think about them getting him?
I think it's perfect. I think they needed a third pitcher, to sure up for playoffs. Because you got Paddock, Lamet, and Clevenger. That's pretty nasty top 3.
Yeah, and Lamet and Paddock, I would think even Clevenger, they're not on the list of the DeGroms, the Coles,
No. They don't have that.
the Beavers. They're not on that list yet, but they're better than what they had going 2 years ago. Where they really didn't have anything.
You look at Lamet's stuff; it's right there with anybody if he can play. It's all about hitting spots for him.
Hey, don't you think it's weird with the Padres? I feel like they've been rebuilding for like 9 years. Like,
it's been since like '98 almost.
They really haven't. I don't think their playoff drought is since 2001 or something. When
they almost made it in
2010. Yeah, because
the Giants won in 162
a few times. Yeah, remember Brian Giles got in there a few times.
I didn't even know he had good years on the Padres. I remember he was a stud on the.
Yeah, that him and Ryan Cholesterol and Phil Nevin.
Ryan, those five ledgers. I remember going to a Giants game and we were like a half hour early. And I was showing the league leaders of like NL stats, and everything was Bonds. And then everything in second was Briare Giles. I was like, God damn, this is second in every category in Pittsburgh. I was like, remember when he robbed that home run?
Yes, I was just gonna say underrated home run catch of all time. If you want to look that up, there, YouTubers right there. One of the more underrated ones of all time, without a doubt, for
spectacular.
Sure. That one and Devon White. Look those two up. So it made me think of young MLB teams that are going out with the Padres. You got Tatis, you got Machado now playing well, you got Hosmer kind of seeming like he's back to himself. Grissom, who's pretty good. You got the pitching staff we just mentioned that's young. They did a good job with the bullpen this year, solidifying it.
I still think they might.
They still need some young pieces, but I feel like that's what I mean by a young team. Is like, I don't feel like if they win it this year, I'd just be stunned out of my mind. But I feel like next year I could see them beating the Dodgers in the division. The year after that,
I don't see them beating the Dodgers next year.
Baseball is a weird sport. I feel like it depends. I just could see them maturing if they can keep getting better.
Yeah.
And their pitching should get better with those three guys. We'll see what happens. And if their bullpen stays solid like it is, they should be right there in the running, I would think. And their offense is exciting. I mean, Tatis Jr. is only going to get better. You would think Machado there should be great protection for him going forward.
He's having a great year also.
Hosmer's been there. Moreland could probably hit righties, going forward, or they'll move on from him either way. And they've obviously proven they're not afraid to spend money. So I wanted to think of a couple other young teams they reminded us of in the last, looks like, 20, 30 years or whatever. We kind of came up with a list before. We have the Astros on there, right? The young ones with Altuve, Bregman, Springer. Yeah, so those kind of teams, Correa. So the young pit, and then those kind of teams. Then we had the Oakland A's with Giambi, Chavez, Miguel Tejada,
Johnny
Hernandez
Damon
behind the pitch. Yeah, they had Damon there when they traded for Jermaine Dye. So they had a good young team there. And then it was pretty loaded, huh?
Yeah. I forgot
that team.
Was Damon on that team?
Oh yeah, that was the year where they started out. That was the Moneyball. The year before Moneyball, basically, they started out horrible. Like they were in last place, and then they went on this.
They did that 3 years in a row. I feel like.
Yeah,
they'd start off 500.
That was Damon. That was to me. That was Damon in his prime those years. That's from those A's years to he was just a really good player.
He was one of those guys when he was in Kansas City. He was underappreciated.
Yeah, he was a good player.
To Boston, it was great.
Yeah, that put him on the map, obviously. But man, he's definitely a good player for sure. So, and then I always liked the Indians young team where they had Lofton, Vizquel, and picked up the veteran Alomar at the end, and then they had Sandy Alomar,
Tomey.
Yeah, so it was a good young team.
Richie the Sex Machine,
Albert Bell, Big Albert, Richie Sexton. I was even thinking before that Albert Bell,
Julio Franco,
Eddie Murray. No, he wasn't.
Eddie Murray.
He wasn't young though at that time.
No, he wasn't young. I think Sex Machine was on those bad. I think he developed in Seattle, in their minor leagues. Both of their.
But I'm thinking the '95 team.
He wasn't a part of it. He wasn't a prime part of it. Yeah. But he was on it, I think.
Richard Sexton, one of the tallest men alive. One of the tallest men alive.
Best fantasy. First
How the
baseman
hell
for
did you
Killer.
strike this man out every time? Just throw it up.
Throw a slider low also.
Oh man, Richie Sexton, that's great. It's funny to think all the back in the day how many those guys hit 40 home runs. We should go through a list.
It's crazy. Tommy hit 600.
I think.
Or did he get to 600? I think he did.
Yeah, he did. We should do a segment on guys. We should do a list on a segment on guys that hit 45 home runs and more, and if we actually know who they were, like you know what I mean? Like, who is that guy at 45?
Greg Vaughn, Brady Anderson.
So baseball, we'll get into that a little bit more about. I love talking baseball with you. Me and you both are diehard fans here with it. A's have been off for a week with their coronavirus thing. They're back at it Friday against your young pod. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to that one.
One more, I want to talk about baseball still. Who's the number one steroid effect? Like, just became one of the best players. Good old Brett Boone. Remember those numbers he was putting up in Seattle?
Yeah, exactly. Because did he start? Was he with San Diego and went to Seattle, right? Or was he with Seattle? I think that's what it was. Or was he with Cincinnati and then went to Seattle?
He was with Cincinnati and then went to Seattle.
And then ended up with San Diego at the end.
I don't know. Seattle was when he was.
No, my fantasy baseball knowledge is well enough. We did it all. I know he was up on San Diego.
He had one of the best bat flips too.
That was a roided man for sure. How does that man end our home run derby at some point in his life? That is incredible.
Never did? Or?
He did. That's why I'm saying, how does a man like him at that stature, when you look at him in the red, he would definitely be up in the lift. Me and Nick Flanagan always mention Brady Anderson, definitely up on that list. I remember that year I was like 50 home runs. I remember being like 11 and thinking that's weird. You get like 8 the year before.
I don't think he ever hit over 20 after that or before it.
That was incredible. He was in the home run derby too in Philadelphia.
Underrated
Philadelphia.
Those nice. That's when Bonds won it.
Yeah, against McGuire.
Those nice. He had those nice. What are they called?
Oh, the glasses.
No,
the sideburns.
The burns.
Chops, the little chops there. Yeah, he was definitely one of the users for sure. My gosh. Yeah, we got to do a list on that. I'm writing that down. We got to do because that will bring up some horrible guys. Would you want to get in the NFL though? Because the thing that's been kind of weird about this for me, I was thinking about is like, I kind of enjoy having the summer be just baseball in a way. I don't know why. There's something about.
I mean, we love baseball.
I know, but for me, that's why I don't care what anybody else thinks about it. But I just enjoy that being baseball. So the basketball, in some ways, is throwing me off in the summer a little bit. Like what? Yeah, like this is. And then now thinking NFL's getting ready to start in like 2 weeks. I'm like, what the heck? And so me and you were like, we better get on this. So we did a little. We want to do our NFL picks this week.
You brought
to get
something
that
up
out there.
You brought something up real quick. Do you think this will make basketball rethink their private? Like it looked like trying to push back the season into baseball and compete with them because their numbers have been terrible. That might be the Black Lives Matter thing also. But
yeah, I think they're getting a lot more political right now for sure. And I don't think.
Do you think that's more of it than playing baseball?
I'm sure that's probably turning off like what
some people
5 to 10% of their maybe.
I would say more than that.
I'll be generous and say like 5 to 10%. And then I think also the summer I think baseball kind of experiences the same thing. I think that's why it's now more of a regional sport is like people do a lot more things in the summer. There's more activities to do. There's more options on TV. You know what I mean? There's just a little bit more going on in the summer as well with families and stuff like that in basketball. I don't know. Maybe that could be a reason, but I think also being the political part of it's probably a big reason for it too. But I think it would be smart for them though to start later, and I think it would be smart for them not to end this late. If I had them,
this late's way too late.
For me, the perfect time for them to end would be like right around July, right after. I don't know, like probably like third week of July.
When do they end normally?
They usually
first week of August?
They usually end the third week of June, if it goes 7 games.
Oh, May, June, July.
So you basically push it back 4 more weeks, and you just you start the season probably routinely on November, like Thanksgiving or something like that. You know, I mean, maybe like or December 1st. I don't think they're going to be able to do it this year, but I think long term that's what I would do.
They're going to have to do it. They're going to start it on time. There's
No,
no
he already
break?
said they're not. No, I don't think they'll start next year until they can have fans in the stadium.
Wow.
I think that's what unless they say we can't do it for another year. I think if they have to wait, I think they'll just do it until they can have fans because they need to get that revenue.
I don't think. I mean, they make most of their money off of TV.
He says no. He says they make. I think he says they make 60% off of it, or 40% off of fans, right? So it's a good amount. So not most of it, but 40% is a good chunk of your income that you're losing out on if you're making billions of dollars.
That seems hard to believe.
Well, game days and buying stuff.
I mean, the NFL's making like billions of dollars off
season
TV.
tickets.
Off TV, I'm talking about.
Yeah, but if you can't have your arena available.
That makes TV even more valuable. More people will be tuned in, and it'd be. I mean, not a lot, not the one, but
yeah. I mean, there is that incentive, but that's a guaranteed that's a guaranteed thing every time, which is nice. But this is a guarantee. You're always getting fans coming in. That's just like I said, 40% of your income. That's a pretty decent amount. So
no, that's a lot. That seems high. I didn't know. I'm surprised it's that high.
According to Adam Silver, that's the reason he wants to do it.
He does fight for the owners.
That's true. He does. So should we get to the NFL here?
Yeah.
Should we do it? All right. So NFL, let's kind of get to the predictions here. Like I said, only a couple weeks left to it. We'll get to the AFC and then the rest of our playoff predictions Saturday or probably Sunday actually for ours, for our podcast again Sunday night. Now that we got this thing working again, we'll get back to doing the Sunday night ones here.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah. We love you.
Coach Jans.
Coach John's always the best. NFL. Let's do NFC tonight. And I'll give you let's do the NFC West first. We don't have to go through team by team, but I'll just give you the division winner. I got the Seahawks winning the division. Who do you got?
Niners.
Okay.
I'm a little biased, but
of course. How about the North?
The North, I have
NFC North. We have the Packers, the Vikings.
I know who we got.
Bears,
Detroit.
the Lions.
I'll take
Detroit.
I guess
you're taking Detroit.
No. I'll take. I don't like any of these teams. None of these teams would win any other division. I'll take the Vikings.
All right, I'm taking the Vikings as well, partially because of the Cousins comments I told you about earlier about the coronavirus. If I die, I die. I don't know what's up. I appreciate the passion there.
Who is he? Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, I think I liked it. The inner of it. So all right, so we got Seahawks.
If he dies, he dies.
I don't know. I just thought it was like, I don't know. I appreciated his comment at that moment. All right, how about the East? NFC
I'll
East.
take. Do I want to go out a limb? No, I'll take the Cowboys. I'll take the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I don't want the Cowboys, especially if they sign Earl Thomas. I'll take the Cowboys.
I'm taking the Cowboys as well. So far we're even. Nothing too exciting. How about on the South?
The South, I'm taking the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, okay. Sounds good. I'm taking the Bucs as well. So the only difference we have division winner-wise is the Seahawks over the Niners.
Fuck Seattle.
So this is where I bet we're going to be a little bit different. So what do you have for the wild card here?
I'm taking Seattle and New Orleans.
Seattle, New Orleans. Okay, I am taking the Niners and I am taking the Cardinals. So I think the NFC West.
Three teams from the West.
I think the West. I feel like Murray's going to have a big year.
I do think
the Cardinals are a surprise pick, and it's hard for me not to pick the Seahawks or the Niners, so that's why I'm picking three of them in there to get in there. It's hard to
pick again. I've heard the Saints are looking to shop Kamara or something crazy, and like what the? The Buccaneers just signed Fournette.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're going all in.
That's a loaded offense. Think about that team like 2 years ago. Or even now, still. Evans, Gronkowski, Godwin, Fournette, Brady.
Hello, fantasy football teams.
O.J. Howard.
They're gonna be going all over for them fantasy. Tom's happy.
What?
Tom's happy.
Tom is like, I haven't seen this since we had Randy Moss.
Yeah, exactly. With Wes and all those guys. So, all right. Well, on Saturday and Sunday, we'll go through like kind of the scenarios of who we got in the the NFC Championship, and then we'll go with the Super Bowl odds there, and who we're taking there, and who Casey's got as well. So let's recap. You got Niners, Vikings, Cowboys, Bucks. I got Seahawks, Vikings, Cowboys, Bucks. Same there. Wild card. I got Niners, Cardinals. You have Saints and Seahawks. So we'll see what happens at the end of the year here, my friend. We'll never know.
We shall see.
And I'll see on Saturday who you take for the championship. So have a good rest of the week.
Oh,
I'll see you.
We were going to get
into
the Giants real quick. You got into them playing well, scoring,
Oh,
and then we got off topic.
Yeah. You wanted to finish with the
Is there San Francisco?
Yes.
No one cares about the New York Football Giants.
Yes.
Is there anybody on that team, the Giants, that you would keep for 3 more years other than Bart? That's an offense. Any player that you could see staying on the team.
That's right. I would probably say the guy I would probably want to keep the most on there on the team is I kind of like the pitcher Webb. I kind of like him a little bit. I think he's pretty good. He didn't pitch he pitched not great today, but I kind of like his stuff. I like his mental stuff.
Not Trevor Cahill?
No, he's not quite Trevor Cahill there. And then the other one to me that I kind of feel like is maybe obvious, but 3 years is Yaz. I feel like 29. I feel like maybe he's the guy I would maybe keep the most there. So I feel like on the pitching side, Webb. And I don't even know if Webb would be that great. I just feel like he maybe has the more of the makeup to be like a decent 3 on a decent team, or maybe something like that, maybe. Because when the thing about Webb I do like is that he's really competitive in situations. So I do like that part of him there, and he gets behind a lot, so he gives up a lot of long balls.
And that's not good, getting behind.
So, but he's only 23. So, I mean, he could get better. Sometimes pitching takes a while. So, I think the Giants have a decent pitcher with him. So, if they develop him.
I would just say Yaz and Bart, obviously, but we talked before and he was out of that.
Yeah, I think everybody would say he would be the guy you would keep for the next 10 years, even if that was the question. So, I think besides him, and I don't think the Giants really have a solid answer with him. Or what I mean is I don't think they have a solid – They don't have anything. He's pretty much starting over. So he's got Bart. He's got a couple other guys coming up the farm system. He's trying out guys like Webb, and he's trying out guys like that are young and giving them chances in the system. That's what you got to do. That's what he's taking the A's approach. This is what you do. You give your your prospects, even if they're not like top 100 guys, you just give them a chance. And baseball is that type of sport where
something clicks.
It clicks, exactly, like Mark Canha or Cody Ross, or just these guys that like come out, they don't have a career. My favorite one, Mike Morse. Like these guys they have like a year or two. Like what the heck? Like
he might have hit 40 almost.
Yeah, he might be on that list as well. So I'll have to bring him up for sure.
Forgot about Mike Morse.
Yeah, well, he can thank Hunter Strickland for ending his career. Came out to protect him with the suicide mission there. He got absolutely just destroyed in the head, basically. So yeah, well, we're definitely doing a topic on 45 home runs when we do. It's just a short little baseball one for sure. So that was fun, man. That was good doing it with you tonight.
Yep.
I'll see you on the next one.
Let's have another boner.
Later.